Hello, I'm Bill Murphy. The League of Women Voters of Fresno would like you to know what's at stake when you go to the polls on Tuesday, November 4th. So they've asked me to moderate a forum today in which we hope to learn from the candidates themselves, their views and positions on important issues connected with the office. The League of Women Voters is a nonpartisan organization. It does not endorse candidates or political parties. We're thankful to the Community Media Access Collaborative for their help in producing this forum. Our slate of candidates includes two people who are running to represent Area 1 on the Fresno Unified School District Board of Trustees. Joining us today are Cal Johnson and Christian Fleming. The order of their statements and questions will be determined by lot and rotated. Each candidate will make a 1-minute opening statement. That will be followed by questions from me. Then each candidate will have 1 minute to answer the question, and a 30-second rebuttal would be allowed after that if desired. And finally, each candidate will make a 1-minute closing statement. Well, that's how it's going to work, so let's get started. Christian Fleming will be the first to offer a 1-minute statement. Christian?
Hi, my name is Christian Fleming, and I'm running for Fresno Unified School District Trustee 1. I'm a single parent, a widower of 2 children. I graduated from Fresno Unified School District. My son graduated from Fresno Unified School District and went on to college. I have a daughter who's a sophomore in the Fresno Unified School District with a 4.0 or better, and she'll probably be graduating from Fresno Unified School District as a valedictorian. I decided to run for Fresno Unified School District Trustee 1 because being involved in the school district, working at different campuses and working with at-risk teens, I saw a lot of things in the school district that I thought or I wish or I like to change. I don't have a quick fix or easy answer for everything, but that is my purpose of running for Fresno Unified School District Trustee 1.
Thank you. Now, Cal Johnson will have an opening statement for 1 minute.
As the incumbent for the Fresno Unified School District, I believe that I have done a good job. I'm the parent of 4 children, all products of the Fresno Unified School District. Have one that graduated from the University of California at Davis, have others who graduated from Fresno City College with AA degrees. And all of my children did well for themselves, and I'm saying that Fresno Unified has done a tremendous job for all of our children. And when we look at our children today, many times we hear complaints about we're not making progress. But all you have to do is look at where we have been and where we're going. Fresno Unified has done a tremendous job, and I continue to push forward to work and do a better job for our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Now we will turn to the questions or the issues of the day. And Cal Johnson, name 3 major challenges that you see facing Fresno Unified School District, and how would you address these issues? That's for you.
Well, one of the things that I think that we need to do is look at how do we begin to bring more color into the institution, and Fresno Unified is talking about bringing more minorities. As we look at the population, we see that there's a great transition going on within Fresno Unified. That is something that we need to do within Unified. Also, I think that we need to look at and provide more professional training for our teachers. Also, we need to address the needs of closing the gap as it relates to our students. Also, I think the challenge is to begin to set standards, higher standards and expectations for all of our students. Many times we find that students do not meet expectations because sometimes we convey the idea that they're not capable. But Fresno Unified is changing all of that by promoting various activities for our students, providing opportunities for our students to participate in after-school activities and also to participate in mentoring programs. And as long as we have these kinds of programs that encompass all of their particular needs, I think that we're heading in the right direction.
Thank you. Mr. Fleming, name 3 challenges you find facing Fresno Unified School District, and how would you address the issues?
Well, the first one being the achievement gap that has not depleted or changed in the last 10 years. I think the achievement gap is something that's deeply rooted, and there's probably not a really quick fix for that. Truancy has been an issue, and I think a lot of the truancy issues had to do with the expulsion and suspension of students, of the allotted days that they have missed out of school. I think the local control funding, getting the parents and the community involved on how the money is being spent in the districts and throughout Fresno Unified School Districts. I believe the graduation rates, along with the college readiness, 37.7% of the kids that graduate from Fresno Unified School District are college ready. 63% are not.
All right. Staying with you then, Mr. Fleming, what particular skills or experience do you have that makes you the best candidate to represent your area on the school board?
Well, I believe the skills that I possess is I've been on the campuses. I've been easy accessible to the community. As a coach, a football coach, as dealing with student athletes, coaches in the community, people in the community, I get firsthand experience of what's going on. I attended some college, my children, and just the involvement and the concerns of the parents, the concerns of the at-risk teens, the things that they relate to me, and the things that they would like to see addressed and taken to the school board, and they're looking for a leader with a voice.
Thank you. Mr. Johnson, how about you? What particular skills or experience do you have that make you the best candidate?
I have worked with high-risk students all of my life. I worked in student services for over 35 years. I have a master's degree in rehabilitation counseling and an undergraduate degree in social work. And given all of this kind of experience, I know that I'm knowledgeable of what is needed for our students and how do we go about meeting the needs of our at-risk students. Also, when we talk about suspensions and expulsions, I know that we are addressing those needs through the restorative justice process. We do know that we find that we have a high expulsion rate for students of color. And also we find that we do have a high expulsion rate for many students that may have certain kinds of disabilities. And we're addressing ourselves to those kinds of concerns. I believe that with the experience that I have over the years in interacting with all of our students from the K through 12 through the community college, I think that I am the best individual and the best qualified to handle the kinds of things that our students need at this point in time.
All right, Mr. Johnson, we'll stay with you for the next question. Last month, a group called Reform Fresno Unified proposed a plan to split the district into 2 distinct regions with shared services. A western region would include the Edison, Bullard, Roosevelt, and Fresno High areas. An eastern region would include the McLean, Hoover, and Sunnyside areas. Now, do you believe that Fresno Unified should be divided into smaller regions, and why?
I need to have more information on this, and I need to understand exactly what they are proposing. I know that when we talk about making smaller areas, I know that there are various variables involved in all of this. When we look at the high incident of poverty within the Fresno Unified District, and I know many people compare our district with Sanger, and I know that the superintendent from the Sanger school, who has served as a consultant to Fresno Unified, he stated that he did not realize the high incident of poverty that we have here in the Fresno Unified School District. So when we talk about splitting a district, that doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to have better results. for our students. It sounds good, and for whatever reasons, but I would have to have more information as to what kind of improvements they're going to make and what magic wand they're going to use and what kind of fix they're going to bring about.
Thank you. Mr. Fleming, how do you feel about splitting the district, and why do you feel that way?
I believe splitting the school district would be a great idea. I also believe that the people should be allowed to vote on it. I believe that splitting the school district, when Mr. Johnson talks about Sanger Unified, they have approximately 11,000 to 12,000 students, 80% non-white, 70 some percent minorities, and their minorities and people of color graduate at 90%. And so I think when you have a school district of 70,000 students, it's very hard to manage. A lot of things don't get addressed. I believe sometimes the right hand doesn't know what the left hand is doing. So I always believe that smaller is better, and especially when it has to deal with minorities, because like he said, Fresno Unified is 84% poverty. Well, so is Sanger. And they're graduating, they're low income and minority students at a much higher rate than Fresno Unified School District is.
Thank you. If we were to break up the school district, if that came about, how should the new boundaries be set?
Well, after going onto the website and looking at the reform, they did a demographic, and I believe they paid someone to do the research of the demographics to break down the split. And so when you go onto the website and you read about the reform, it states that once the district is split, all the unions and everything is going to stay in place. A lot of things are not going to change. They're just going to become smaller. So I think smaller is better. I think smaller classrooms, smaller districts, I think everyone would be easier accessible and a smaller atmosphere than a larger atmosphere.
Mr. Johnson, if this did come about, how should the boundaries be set?
Well, I know what they've already proposed for the splitting of the boundaries, but I'm concerned as it relates to how we're going to deal with the total administration and how we're going to deal with the superintendent. Well, we'll have the same superintendent managing both school districts. We're going to appear to have the same administration working with the same populations. So my question is, that's why I made the comment, I would have to have more information, and I know what the demographics have pointed out, but I think it needs to go deeper than that. I think that we need to understand really what is the real agenda and all of this. I understand that it's very easy to say that we need to make the district smaller because it is better. And like I said before, I will still stick by my point that when we talk about poverty, we talk about poverty, levels of poverty. And some poverty is more deeper than other levels of poverty. And dealing up within the certain communities is a lot different. It's not the same as it is in the area of Fresno.
Thank you. We'll stay with you for the next question, Mr. Johnson. It has been 2 years since the Graduation Task Force presented its many recommendations on improving Fresno Unified School District's graduation rates. What do you see as the district's greatest improvement toward that end so far, and what do you feel still needs the most work?
Well, we need to make sure that we really push forward on the students of color. Also, I think that we are doing that with the Men's Alliance at the various high schools, promoting the fact that they are capable and promoting the fact that we have high expectations for them. And also, I think that when we talk about the whole closing that whole educational gap, we have done that to some extent. When we talk about our graduation rate for Fresno Unified, we have made some changes in Fresno Unified. I think we're up to 75 to 78% graduation rate, coming from approximately a 70% graduation rate. And I think that when we continue to move forward in this area, we're making significant progress. You cannot make changes overnight, and it's going to take some time. And I know some people want things to happen rapidly, but we're pushing forward. When we're pushing forward in terms of putting music and et cetera into the classrooms, that encourages young people to stay in school because they have something to work with. And it's been pointed out that music and other kinds of activities help expand the mind of our students, not only the hardcore academics.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Mr. Fleming, what do you see as the district's greatest improvement toward that end, and what do you feel still needs the most work?
Well, I don't see a great improvement. I see a little improvement, but I think early education before they get into high school would be a plus in helping with the graduation. I also believe that putting high school students in the courses that they're not qualified for. When you're putting kids in the Algebra 2 and certain courses that you know they're not qualified for, and you're expecting them to pass, is setting a district up for failure. Why would a district enroll kids into Algebra 2 classes that they didn't pass in the 5th and 6th grade, and they're sticking them in these courses at 90%, and 30 to 40% of the kids are actually passing the classes? That's just something that I couldn't fathom nor understand. So I think until they get early education down and stick the children in the proper classes that they're capable of achieving in, then the graduation rate would increase.
Well, that sort of relates to our next question, Mr. Fleming. Years ago, we began dismantling vocational type programs in our schools. Now there's a demand from the public to bring them back. Is this wise? And how should such programs be different or similar from the vocational education programs of the past?
Well, you know, in 2005, when they took away the vocational programs and wood shops and auto shops, I couldn't understand that. When I was in high school, auto shop and wood shop were great classes. Home ec, those were great electives and great classes to have. So when you take those away, I believe that every student that's attending high school is not college ready, and the numbers show that they're not college ready. So what do you do for the students that say, I'm not going to go to college, but I want to support my family and I want to learn a trade, or I want to learn something to help support my family? Well, with the vocational and wood shops and auto shop classes, they had hands-on training and was paid through the Fresno Unified School District to help them after graduation. With those programs taken away, now students that don't go to college, what do they do for our economy? What do they do for the state of California? What do they do for the city of Fresno once they graduate with no skills?
Thank you. Mr. Johnson, how do you feel about that?
I believe that vocational education is important. And as I indicated early on, that I've been involved in, I worked in Job Corps where they had vocational programs, and also I understand the vocational programs that they've had in high schools. And I've always supported vocational education, even though we call it CTE today. Things have changed as it relates to vocational education, but when we think in terms of the construction trades, we're thinking in terms of individuals being able to raise a family, earn decent wages, send their kids on to vocational schools, and also be able to furnish college opportunities for kids. When we talk about just vocational education as vocational education, we need to think in terms of it as not a dumping ground. It is a vocational profession, if you will, and gives individuals an opportunity to take care of their children. It's good for our economy. It's good for the city of Fresno, and it's good for the state of California. And I'd just like to throw this in. A number of years ago, if we all recall, a guy by the name of W.E.B. Du Bois talking about the talented 10th, and Booker T. Washington talking about all the others. And this is where we are today. Had we listened to those two gentlemen, one was a philosopher who graduated from Harvard University, and the other one was graduated from Tuskegee. Had we listened to them, we wouldn't be having this discussion today. We would continue to pursue those two avenues, and we are getting to that point again, because when we have all of our children going to school, some going to college and some not going to college, they just hang around, and it has a drain on our economy.
Thank you. Now, Mr. Johnson, what policies and procedures can be put into practice to attract and retain good teachers and good administrators?
Well, first of all, I think that we need to change the whole concept or idea of what teachers are. I always take the position that teachers teach lawyers, teachers teach doctors, teachers teach all the other professions in our system. And what we have is teachers many times are underpaid, and people are not attracted to teaching as much as they have been in the past. And if we were to begin to look at upgrading the salaries, because we upgrade the educational system and it's not commensurate with what we're paying our people. And I think that we need to move forward in terms of going, looking at ways and increasing the salaries to make it more competitive with other areas in our society. When we look at the teachers, good teachers, some leave the teaching profession and go elsewhere. I know a number of students that I really would like to be a teacher, but they don't pay what I make where I'm working now. Some people are natural teachers. You know, the first teachers are your parents. The hand that rocked the cradle shapes the world. And what I'm saying is that let us pay our teachers a fair wage so that they will stay in the class. Since we tell them you need more and more education, you need more credentials. And if we put that on them, then we also should be willing to tax ourselves to pay them more.
Thank you. Mr. Fleming.
Well, I don't know what Fresno Unified School District has been doing on retaining teachers. They should have been doing a better job on retaining minority students. When you have a school, let's just say Edison High School, which is in Mr. Johnson's district, that is 90% of color, minorities, and the teachers don't reflect that. When you have a school that is 90% minority and you don't have enough minority teachers to teach in that school, Fresno Unified School District should have done research and done a lot of homework on getting teachers in there to teach the minority students. If you look at Fresno Unified School District across the board, minority teachers do not match the amount of minority students in the school district. So one of the things I suggest Fresno Unified School District does is have a mentorship program for minority students to engage them in almost like as a vocational or technical trade to teach them how to be teachers. And the administration's paychecks are way too big compared to the teachers who are there in the trenches and fighting and working with the students diligently.
Thank you. That's the end of the grilling. And now each candidate will have the opportunity for a 1-minute closing statement. And the first will be from Cal Johnson.
Well, I believe, following up on my challenger here, I believe that Fresno Unified is in the process of promoting more people of color. We do have a program where we're encouraging people to coming to the teaching profession, and that we are paying them some $12,000 a year to go on to become teachers. And also I believe that we're looking at developing things within the community where we have students, young kids who may be interested in being teachers and tutoring other children so that they will get a feel for what they want to do. We're using Gaston School as one example. We're using the Hinton Foundation as another way in which to promote that kind of activity. We're hoping to use the young people from Computech to begin to work with young people from Lincoln, King, and Kirk School who are not proficient in English and math. So we're working on those kinds of things right now, and for the future you will be able to see those things. So I'd just like to say that Fresno Unified is on the move, and we're doing the creative kinds of things that the public would like for us to see. And I like to say one other thing, that when we talk about teachers, we need to go to Fresno State to see how many minorities who are actually enrolled in those educational programs of Fresno Pacific University. And even when we do the recruitment out of state, how successful are we in getting people to come to Fresno? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Christian Fleming, please give us your closing statement.
Well, I like to say I would like to represent the Fresno Unified School District Trustee 1 seat come January 1st. I would love to work with the community, I would love to work with the parents, and I would love to work with all the coaches, teachers, administration, and staff in order for Southwest Fresno to have a voice and to be heard at the school board. I would love to sit on the board with other board members to help pass policy that Southwest Fresno has felt on deaf ear. And I'm going to say this, and I said this yesterday. I would like for Cal Johnson to endorse me and his people to endorse me, the wise counsel and the energetic young fight. Very wise man. He's been in the community. I'm young, I'm new, and that's what I suggest. We would empower the community, and we can come together and really make a change in Southwest Fresno.
Thank you, both of you. You have been watching a forum organized by the League of Women Voters of Fresno, with the production assistance by the Community Media Access Collaborative of Fresno. I'm Bill Murphy. Thanks for watching, and remember to vote.